Hey, hey, hey. Happy Monday. Come on in. Pull up a chair. Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host, here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch. And right off the bat, I got the wrong date. I have been running around doing a bunch of stuff today, and I'm like, I think I got everything set up. I think everything's all right. Ay, ay, ay. Never fails. All right. All right. Come on, Photoshop. Let's go. It's like, hurry it up. You know what? The thing is, I even had, no, I guess not. I had it. I thought I had it. Just all I needed to do is click a single button and it would be all set. But that is not the case. So it's going to take me a moment here. I know this is such great content, isn't it? It's amazing. Just keeps you, on the edge of your seat. All right, that should have changed it there. Right. Okay. See, one of the things you notice I have to move and things like that is because the camera's right in front of me. And behind that is a screen that, of course, my desktop is attached to, connected to. And, it's always something right in the center. So when I'm working on stuff down here, I'm always like, yes. All right. That's more like it, I think. Hang on. There we go. Double check and we had that date. Anyway, welcome aboard. It is Monday, November 7th, 2022. You know it's November 7th because it says right up there in the corner that it is November 7th. This is live stream 847. It's your first time joining me, as you can tell. Super, super casual around here, just hanging out, talking about the latest in tabletop gaming news as I screw things up, and also taking a first look at a tabletop game. And tonight we are going to dive in and take a first look at Pathfinder Lost Omens Impossible Lands from Paizo Inc. So that is on the agenda tonight. It's actually just arrived as well. So there is that. We're going to be diving on in. But if you are not overly familiar with the show, let me point out we do tackle the tabletop gaming news first. So it'll probably be about 30, maybe 35 minutes or so before we jump on into Impossible Lands. So if you're watching live, just kick back, relax, take it easy on yourself. We'll get there. We'll get there. I'm driving this bus. We may hit a couple of bumps along the way, but we'll get where we're going. Maybe. And it's not rocket surgery, right? But if you are watching this 30 minutes or more after the stream happens to end, then you can actually use the timestamps that you can find in the show notes information, or depending on what device you're watching this on, those timestamps might be right there in the timeline for you. You can jump past the tabletop gaming news if you'd like. But we do have some cool stuff to talk about tonight. Also, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang YouTube channel. Be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, a whole lot more that you won't find here on the channel. Also, it's a live stream, so that means there is chat available. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But if you want to say howdy, maybe get a question, a comment, by all means, chime in. I will do my best to respond. Of course, you do need to be a subscriber to the channel for at least 48 hours before you can take part in chat. Yet another way that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. So first out the gate tonight was the Motor City Madman. Yes, the Madman is with us. He is also one of our chat moderators. William Hell Has Eyes, Stray Kismet, Kathy Evans, MC is also with us, as is Coco B and Flaming Huron, who is another one of our chat moderators. And I believe that is see, as soon as I said, I think that's everybody. 245 Trioxin swings on into chat as well. So, talking about me driving the bus, it is the Partridge Family bus, or the Great Space Coaster. I would probably take the Partridge Family bus. No, I think the Partridge Family is a show that has not aged as poorly as other shows, other comedies from back then, and it's mainly the Danny Partridge, Mr. Kincaid, relationship that personally I think it probably makes the show more than anything else. Plus, Shirley Jones was pretty hot back in the day too. So you had that. James Walker has swung on in, asking what's the difference between Impossible Lands and Impossible Landscapes? Honestly, I don't know. If Impossible Landscapes was a first edition Pathfinder book, as I've mentioned before, I have very little knowledge of first edition Pathfinder, then I would take a guess that it might be tackling some of the same information. Don't know. Do not know. But we're going to take a peek in just a bit. So let's jump on into the news, because one of the hottest projects on Kickstarter right now is Slay the Spire, the board game from Contention Games. Here's a wee bit of the scoop. Slay the Spire, the board game, is a cooperative deck building adventure. Craft a unique deck, encounter bizarre creatures, discover relics of immense power, and finally become strong enough to slay the spire. There is a short Kickstarter video. Yes, I know. That's all the info that they gave you. So, anyway, James Walker points out, yes, Impossible Landscapes is the Delta Green campaign. That's funny, because I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, isn't that Delta Green? And I thought, well, it's possible that two games could have the same title of a book. There isn't like you could, necessarily copyright certain phrases and things like that. Thank you, James, for pointing that out. Because I'm sitting there, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. It's just impossible, says Flaming Huron. All right, let's take a peek at the Kickstarter video. The project for Slay the Spire, the board game, actually launched on November 1st. It has already brought in $2.5 million. Yes, you heard me correctly. 2.5 million bucks. Slay the Spire, the board game, is for 1 to 4 players, ages 14 and up, plays in around 90 minutes. You can reserve a copy of the game as well as the claw pack and all unlocked stretch goals for a $100 pledge through November 18th, with an expected delivery in December of 2023. Flaming Heron says, I thought you said Slay the Spire. That's a great PC game. Yes, it is Slay the Spire. Giving me a hard time. So, I am of two minds with this. For one, I am a huge fan of Slay the Spire, just like it seems Flaming Heron is as well. It is an excellent PC game. I have concerns about this Kickstarter, though. And, and it's no inside dope or anything like that. I just call it like I see it. This is a really big project for a company that has one game that is actually not in print anymore. It is not available to purchase. That concerns me, especially $2.5 million in funding. I have also heard through the grapevine that this does not feel like you're playing the PC game, which isn't a bad thing. It's just, I guess some of the reviewers were expecting the same vibe, the same feel of the deck building and taking on the various different minions and bosses, so on and so forth. So there is that. Plus, it's $100. I don't know. I don't know. But I did want to share the news with you because it is burning up Kickstarter right now. You figure it's still got 11 days to go. And it's at least this afternoon, it was at 2.5 million. It may be a little bit beyond that. So Flaming Heron says, oh, I wasn't having a go at you, Jeff. I simply misheard it. So I was like, what is this? For a second, I say Slay the Spire. Yes. I should point out I have made some adjustments to the audio. I'm always playing with the audio. I'm always trying to EQ it a little bit differently and things like that. Hopefully it sounds all right. I wanted to get rid of a little bit of the nasal sound that it usually has. And it's, at least to me, it's got way too much bass. Not now, but before. So Flaming Heron says audio can't fix his ears, unfortunately. 245 Trioxin says $100 is a new $60. There you go. Exactly. All right, moving right along. On the very near horizon comes Galileo Project from Hachette Games, or guess I should say Hachette Board Games, because I think that is the official name of the company. Here's what I know. 30 years after sending the first colonial ships from Ganymede, humanity decided to launch Project Galileo. Its goal, settle the 4 main satellites of Jupiter: Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto, in order to broaden human presence in the solar system. This project is named after the Italian intellectual Galileo, the first to observe these 4 satellites in the sky in 1610. In Galileo Project, you play as the same corporations involved in the events of Ganymede and settle the 4 satellites of Jupiter by acquiring robots from Earth and Mars, recruiting experts, developing technologies, and building superstructures. Chain together epic combos with only 3 simple actions. Advance on 4 different moon tracks to gain their unique bonuses. Switch your influence between Earth and Mars to take advantage of available characters and robots. Galileo Project is for 2 to 4 players, ages 14 and up. Plays in around 40 to 80 minutes. It's going to carry an MSRP of $59.99, which is the new $39.99, actually. Just kidding. When it arrives on December 13th, a lucky December 13th, looks interesting. I have heard good things about Ganymede, and this is from the same designers. I believe, if I remember correctly, when we see the game box again, going to show, I believe it's a French company. I don't, is it, maybe it is Gigamech. Because I was just about to say, I don't remember if I saw Gigamech Games on there. It's possible. It is a possibility because I know that Hachette releases a lot of the Gigamech games. So William points out, sad thing with these Kickstarters, no matter what, there's always delays. Not always. On occasion, I have actually seen Kickstarters deliver early, but I'd say it's like 100 delayed Kickstarters for every one. That's, early. So William says, still waiting for Dungeon Essentials old school box sets. I would assume William means old school essentials, the new box sets. No, I don't know. From Exalted Funeral. Good stuff. Very cool. I did not back that Kickstarter mainly because I already had the rules. So it's like, so I want all the little booklets. It's not that big a deal. Flaming Heron says they have kind of accepted that Kickstarters generally overshoot their intended releases. It's up to the individual what they accepted, so long as the quality is kept. Flaming Heron doesn't mind if it's a little bit delayed. So Williams says they picked it up for the nostalgia. Oh yeah, hey, I've reviewed Old School Essentials, the classic rules tome, the advanced players tome, and the advanced fantasy referees tome, and love them. I think they're great. They are some go-tos for doing a little more of a modern take on, say, basic expert modules for D&D. All right, on to some role-playing game news, because arriving next spring is the Marvel Multiverse role-playing game. Here's the latest from Penguin Random House and Marvel. Welcome to the Marvel Multiverse. Take on the roles of Marvel's most famous superheroes, or create entirely new ones, to put an end to the sinister plots, the most menacing supervillains in the Marvel Multiverse. The book is written by D616 System co-creator and New York Times bestseller Matt Forbeck, and includes all new chapter opening splash pages by Mike Bowden, along with illustrations from Marvel's incredible army of artists. I have to laugh where it says the book is written by D616 System co-creator. Yeah, this is the first game that uses that system. So it's like, what? It's the way they wrote it. It's presented as if it's like, oh, well, you've loved the D616 system with this game. Why don't you check it out with this one? The core rulebook features all the rules you need to play, including quick character creation, bombastic combat, and scores of amazing powers, plus full profiles of dozens of Marvel's greatest heroes and villains. All you need is this book, 3 standard dice, and some friends. Hopefully you've got some friends. The multiverse is calling. Come join the fun. The hardcover of the Marvel Multiverse role-playing game is going to hit stores on June 13th. Going to carry an MSRP of $59.99. That's what role-playing game core books go for now, $59.99. And there's also another release that's coming out in July, and it is the Cataclysm of Kang. I am sharing the cover right now. All I know about it is it's going to have a series of 6 adventures, which you can play standalone, or you can connect them together in an overarching campaign. Don't know if it's a hardcover, softcover, or what. So you may recall that I didn't really call it a review. I call it my thoughts, on the playtest book that came out. And I was not very keen on it. And I was not alone out there. But I have also heard that there was an update to the playtest. I think it was the second update was a huge update and changed a bunch of stuff. Now, I don't know what it was because I purchased the soft cover. So the soft cover playtest. So you didn't get a PDF. Now, this is one thing that I'm a little ticked off about. I know it seems like I must be in a bad mood today or something. I'm not. I'm not. But the PDF they charged people when it first came out, they were charging them, I think it was $6.99 off the top of my head. And now you can get it for free. But if you paid the $6.99, well, you're shit out of luck. You paid $6.99 for something that now everybody can get for free. So it's like, what? That, to me, it's not too cool. Although, to be honest, I thought it was kind of lame that they were charging people for a playtest. Anyway, I could see if you wanted to have a physical book, yes, of course, charge a little bit for it. But a PDF and it's a playtest, nobody charges for their playtest that I'm aware of for role-playing games, except for Marvel and Penguin Random House. So, MC says the most interesting thing about this game will be, what do superheroes do in their downtime? Go shopping? So, Flaming Heron says that they don't hold great hopes for this one based on my video that I did. That's why I had mentioned, supposedly there were some huge changes in the version 1.2. So I don't know. I'll probably take a look, seeing that the PDF is free now. I'll probably swing over and take a peek at it. Doug Roberts is with us in chat. Welcome aboard, Doug. MC says, don't worry. After their own system flops, they'll do a 5e version. Just watch. William says they can't stand Marvel. They're so over them. I don't have a dog in the fight. Like I say all the time. I like DC. I like Dark Horse, Image. I'm kind of friendly with Image Comics because of Todd McFarlane. I don't know. So it's all fine. I'll be the first to point out I have not watched the last 2 Marvel series, and we get Disney because we get Hulu. So it's like, one of these things, haven't gotten around to it. Alrighty then. So if you haven't had enough superhero RPG info, well, now available, coming to stores this week. For Savage Worlds is the Superpowers Companion for 3rd edition Suede, as the cool kids like to call it. Here's the scoop. So William points out I look like an older Rob Liefeld. Or is it? I'm trying to know. Is it Liefeld? I think it's Liefeld. I don't know. We did get to chat with him. I have a video from San Diego Comic-Con But he was pretty funny. He was pretty interesting. MC says I do. Well, not going to complain. Here's the funny thing, though. I think Rob's older than I am, so it's kind of an insult. MC says he's a horrible artist. We have a running joke. I think a lot of people have the same running joke that he tends to draw muscles that don't exist. Anyway, let's talk about this superpowers companion because few mediums inspire today's gamers like comic books, graphic novels, and the movies and television shows based on them. The Savage World Superpowers Companion lets you recreate everything from classic Marvel and DC tales to modern takes like The Boys, Kick-Ass, or Invincible, all in the award-winning Savage Worlds rules system. Kind of surprised they name dropped those companies and series. This 200-page hardcover book updates the original Superpowers Companion to be completely compatible with Savage Worlds Adventure Edition. Here's what you'll find inside. A gorgeous new layout by fan favorite Carl Kiesler, a beautiful cover by Aaron J. Riley, all new art by the phenomenal Bien Flores, Unique Sapori, Wayne Miller, and more. New character options, edges, and hindrances. New and updated gear like absorption shields, capes, a host of weapons for your heroes and villains to bash each other with, and vehicles to get your super team where they need to go in style. All new narrative headquarters rules. Build a unique base for your super team, upgrade it, and deal with the adventurous complications that come with it. That sounds like some downtime adventuring. New setting rules emphasize the nature of super-powered combat, including new power stunts, using the terrain as a weapon, and suggested setting rules to mimic different styles, including four-color, cosmic, gritty, fantasy, horror, and even ultra-violent takes on supers. Looking at you, kick-ass. Every single power has been evaluated, updated, and streamlined. Power types have been redefined, universal modifiers cleaned up and made simpler, and new powers like Deadeye added, all within the standard Savage Worlds point cost system. Rogue's Gallery has been completely overhauled, both in story and powers, to better fit today's comics. Every single one has new art and many connect to each other, creating a default setting for those who want it and easily ignored for those who don't. From street-level threats to cosmic annihilators and rampaging kaiju, there's a bit of badness here to challenge any super team. There's items of power. Over a dozen superpowered items give the game master rewards for their super team or plot devices for their mad tyrants. Drop a time bomb to rewrite history. Rally beneath the tattered symbol. Beware the devastation seeds. And battle for cosmic supremacy with the crown of the new god. The 200-page hardcover is going to carry an MSRP of $39.99, which is the new $19.99, in case you didn't know that. Or you can grab just the PDF alone right now over at Drive-Thru RPG for that aforementioned $19.99. So the Madman is pointing out that they've considered running a supers campaign at some point. MC says, you know what? I like this better because it isn't Marvel. But they mentioned Marvel. So, like I said, I was kind of surprised. Little name drop. Little name drop. So, Madman points out, yes, this is Savage Worlds is definitely not GURPS. No. Yes, the Madman is our Savage Worlds expert in chat. Final news piece. Handiwork Games has released a new role-playing game set in the monolithic age. Here's the skinny on Mask Witches, A Forgotten Doggerland. Mask Witches of Forgotten Doggerland, the storytelling game by Handiwork Games of the psychedelic Mesolithic, is out now in PDF at Drive-Thru RPG. Did I say monolithic? It's Mesolithic. After a hugely successful 1-week Kickstarter, which raised over £22,000 in just 7 days, because 7 days is a week, the PDF is now available to everyone. There's also the first story scenario, the meat spoiler, and the PDF version of the Masks and Amulet deck. After the end of the last ice age, when the earth warmed and tides began to rise, the place we now call Doggerland was subject to an unimaginably vast tidal wave and was lost forever. We know precious little about this place, and as such, it makes a marvelous location to set the weird tales of the now forgotten witches. Players take the roles of witches who respond to the problems of the hunter-gatherer communities of forgotten Doggerland. Problems which frequently manifest into strange and horrific creatures which must be defeated in ritualized magical warfare. Masked Witches of Forgotten Doggerland uses the Silver Road Rules by John Hodgson, best known for his art on the One Ring role-playing game. In the Silver Road, each character has 2 things they're good at and 2 things they are bad at. In Masked Witches of Forgotten Doggerland, these take the form of the masks the witches wear and amulets they carry. Witches are able to trade and change their masks, making their characters' identities extremely fluid. In addition to the imagined Mesolithic setting, Masked Witches also presents a 1970s setting in the vein of the novels of Susan Cooper and Alan Garner to overlay the core setting, with Doggerland events taking place in flashback and significant objects and entities connected across the ages. Right now, you can pre-order the 144-page hardcover, which includes a PDF, for approximately $46 exchange rate there. Or grab the PDF of Masked Witches of Forgotten Doggerland right now at Drive-Thru RPG for $9.99. Gotta say, this seems kind of trippy. MC asks, is this Swedish? No, it is not. It is, if I remember correctly, I think John Hodgson lives in England. So I mean, I know he's across the pond, but I'm pretty sure it's England. So the artwork is something to mention because some of the, like, if you go to Drive-Thru RPG, there's more discussion of it on the page for this. And it's like AI design, but with finishing touches by artists. So it's through an AI program out there. So there's, like I said, there's discussion of it on both on the Handiwork Games website as well as on the page for the game over at Drive-Thru RPG. So there is that. John actually sent me a copy of the PDF earlier today for me to take a peek at. But as you probably remember, I don't review PDFs, but I have other folks do that. All right, that is it for tonight's news. Of course, I was just talking about Drive-Thru RPG. Don't forget, the Gaming Gang, thus the Dispatch, is affiliated with the One Bookshelf site. So if you are going to visit, say, Drive-Thru RPG, please stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banner ads. That way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a small portion of that sale. All those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do add up and help keep thegaminggang.com around. Also, if you like this video, if you dig the channel, if you find thegaminggang.com to be a valuable resource, hell, if you like what we do, you can always stop by paypal.me/gaminggang and making a small donation. And big tip of the cap to those out there who use our banner ads and stop by paypal.me from time to time. I do not have a total yet on the 50/50 game sale to benefit Extra Life because I'm actually waiting for 2 payments that people said, hey, I really do want this. I really seriously do want this. So we will find out. Hopefully maybe tomorrow, maybe Wednesday. I don't know. William says they're digging my DM OG guide in the background. Are you talking about my player's handbook? So you may have noticed that I swapped lenses around a little bit. So went back to, yes, MC is correct. It is the AD&D player's handbook. Just like I've got the Call of Cthulhu set, which is not original. It's the new one that I did a review of and we took a peek at. So, and we've got the little Whiffrip behind me as well. Little Pathfinder. We got Ruins of Symborum, Castles and Crusades. So yeah, so I swapped out the 25 millimeter and went with the 35 millimeter lens. So I am not so up close and personal. I really wasn't digging it all that much. So MC asks, is that the 2-inch box set for CFC? Yes, it is. So, but MC said they're leaving it sealed. Yeah, I had to open mine up because I had to shoot video of it. So Regency Cthulhu came out today. So I should be seeing that. I'm kind of surprised I didn't see it already, but a little bit later, I'll talk about what's on the horizon because there are some packages that are in transit, and there are 2 coming from Free League Publishing, and I think I know what's in both. I'm not positive. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. Well, actually, we'll talk about it after we take a look at Impossible Lands. But before we do that, I did want to talk a little bit about tomorrow being Election Day. I'm not going to harp on it with anybody out there. It is Election Day here in the United States tomorrow. So if you are registered to vote and you have not voted yet, please exercise your right to vote. Do not take a pass on it. I'm not telling you who to vote for. I'm not telling you what to believe in. But if you're registered to vote, you need to vote. A lot of people gave their lives to give you that opportunity to decide for yourself, you know, who you want in office, the direction you want government to take, both on a national and state and local level. So please vote. All right. On that note, I think it's time for a brief intermission.
What happened to you?
I lost my head over Wilkins Instant Coffee. Have a cup?
Yow!
What do you suppose upset him?
Flying saucers have invaded our planet. Washington, London, Paris, Moscow are key targets. The whole world is under attack. Can it survive?
the survivors of a disintegrated solar system. At this moment, the remainder of our fleet is circling your globe.
What do you want with me?
Arrange for your world leaders to confer with us in the city of Washington.
They set up an electronic screen. The artillery doesn't penetrate.
Never before has the screen reached such heights of excitement, breathtaking spectacle, hair-raising terror. See the saucermen's high-frequency disintegrators. See flying saucers travel thousands of miles in seconds. See great cities leveled by flying saucer monsters.
Russ, look.
The same kind of thing that's watched us since the beginning of the project.
People of Earth, attention. People of Earth, attention. This is a voice speaking to you from thousands of miles beyond your planet.
They're coming down to take over. They made that clear to us in the saucer. To the best of our knowledge, my wife and I are the only ones left alive.
That's what happens if you don't vote. Aliens from another planet come and they destroy the Earth. Wow. Amazing special effects. See, now I remember when I was a kid growing up, it was like, yeah, okay, those special effects aren't very good, but, you know, it is what it is, right? Now it's sort of like, oh my gosh, Ray Harryhausen special effects. Well, and what is up with it's like in the 50s science fiction movies, there's always like the main male character who's like 50 and some young woman who's like in her 20s. And it's like, yeah, that's your love interest there. That's your romantic couple. It's like, what? And of course, I'm sure in 1956, I believe that's when this movie came out. I guarantee we would be busting out the World War II aircraft to try to battle the flying saucers. Sarah D is with us, pointing out that Wonkins is traumatized. The balance has returned. All right, so today we are going to be diving in to take a first look at Pathfinder Lost Omens Impossible Lands from Paizo Inc. It's written by Miriam Ahmad, Saif Ansari, Alexandria Bustian, Bashir Gauss, Michelle Jones, TJ Khan, Matt Morris, Dave Nelson, Shiv Ramdas, Mikhail Rikun, Michael Sayer, Tan Xiao Han, Ruvaid Verk, Jabari Weathers, and Brian Yaksha. And I apologize. I'm sure I mispronounced a few of those names. This 344-page hardcover source book, I believe, releases on the 16th. Does carry an MSRP of, you guessed it, $59.99. Or you can grab the PDF on the 16th for $29.99. So Straight Kismet asks if the scientist and his wife or girlfriend or whoever that is are the only ones left alive on Earth. Does that mean Wonkins didn't make it? Yeah, I guess Wilkins is gone too. All right, let's swing on over to the other camera because here I've got Pathfinder Impossible Lands. So, you know what? I'm going to lighten this up a little bit. Even though my camera is telling me that this is a little overexposed, I think that looks better. So, this is the new lens that I was waiting for. So, I got to be honest, I don't see a huge difference in how the print looks on these books. So all I can tell you is it is a prime lens, but it has autofocus. So there will be that. Although I do not have autofocus on for this video because we're looking at the book. We're not going to go, woo. No 3D effects here. So let's jump on in because first off, the fine folks over at Paizo Inc. were kind enough to provide me with this review copy of Impossible Lands, but neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the Gaming Gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this coverage with you. These days, it's important that you know that. Also, I'm going to be taking a peek through. Of course, I'm staying picture in picture up here. That means I'm going to cut off a bit of the upper left portion of the book, probably a little more than we're used to seeing with the other lenses. Because as you can see, this is pretty tight, this shot here. So I want to give you a little more real estate on these books when we take a peek. Also, we're not going to take a look at each and every page, but I do want to get a good feel for what's in this book because I got to be honest, I don't know. I personally don't have a clue. I think it's a gazetteer, to be honest. I think it tackles some of the regions from some recent adventure paths and probably some upcoming adventure paths for Pathfinder as well. Let's take a look at the back here. Face the unnatural. Embrace. Oh, did I say face? It's embrace the unnatural. Okay, Jeff. It's English, man. You can read it. A war between two undying wizards raged on for thousands of years. Though peace has now reigned for millennia, the ghosts of their atrocities still haunt every corner of the land they touched. Everyday people live their day-to-day in a land that defies logic, praying the specters of history won't rise again to plunge them back into chaos and carnage. Explore a world where cities are built on foundations of genies and wishes, where undead legions clash against the titanic war engines forged from flesh. Travel a region where magic still rides and roils from the wounds inflicted on it, from the cavern depths where all spells lie dead to the scarred desert where the slightest arcane spark can erupt into a maelstrom. Can your heroes make their mark on a land ruled by cruel egos of so many others in the heart of the impossible land? Let's find out. Jump on in. So, do you want to give some credit to the artists? There are a bunch of them, about 3 times as many artists as there were authors. And as I was sharing the writers who are involved in this, that was quite a bit, quite a few of them. So we're going to get an introduction to history, people of the impossible lands, Elkinstar, which is from a recent adventure path. Bopan, not necessarily familiar with that. That's not ringing a bell. Geb, that's where the current adventure path is taking place. I believe the Bloodlords campaign. And we have Jalmare, the Man of Waste. Next. And then we get religion. So I guess we're going to get some new deities, a bestiary, and then we'll wrap up with a glossary and index. The werewolf is with us, pointing out that they wish they'd put this out for 5e. So here's my understanding, because Paizo likes to advertise second edition Pathfinder as being compatible with 5e. I got to be honest, I am not positive on that. I haven't really dug into it, but whenever I'm sharing news pieces, almost always talk about how that you can use these books with the world's oldest role-playing game. So Lord Cast 2000 is with us from Benton Harbor, Michigan. So sorry I did not say howdy to you when you popped in. So let's see. So far, artwork looks pretty cool. Here's our introduction. There's a land where the dead toil in the fields, where a mortal can walk alongside bleached bone skeletons and pale and hungry ghouls, where the quick and the dead live under one roof. It's a land where a goddess once ruled, a ghost now reigns, and blood is currency. It's a land where forever... Oh, yeah, okay. First it was like, wait a second, that doesn't come across right. But it does. It's a land where forever has a different meaning entirely, and eternity is a matter of law and not luck. Impossible? Not in Geb. There's a land where wizards build things of steel and sinew and spell, where great colossi of otherworldly metals guard the gates to a city of wonder, where monsters walk and talk and trade on the streets. It's a land of piercing spires. I wonder if you get to slay the spires. And spiraling stairways, skewering the heavens and shattering reality. It's a land where things live that shouldn't live, lakes and weapons and stranger things besides. Impossible? Not in Nex. So it's talking about each of the 5 different locales. There's a city where artisans make weapons that can kill gods and demons. It's a city in the shadow of an ancient fortress, but it's a place of new things and new ideas where new people make new wonders and new horrors. It's a city of guns and cannons, from little pistols to great belching bombards, as powerful as any archmage. Impossible? Not an Alkenstar, which was the setting of Outlaws of Alkenstar, which was a 3-parter. Christopher Rush says that Pathfinder is going to start providing 5e stats next year, but not as of yet. So Werewolf says it's not compatible. Like I said, I'm only repeating what Paizo likes to say. So in their sell sheet info and that, it's always talking about, oh, this is for 2nd edition Pathfinder, and you can play it with the world's oldest role-playing game. That's how they always refer to D&D, is the world's oldest role-playing game. All right, so we're going to get some history here. It's like we get a timeline. Going to get some of the various different peoples. So we've got the Asuras, the Kalakangs, the Dwarves, genies, giants, gnolls, gnomes, halflings, humans, nagas, rakshasas, the undead. So then we get some new races. So we have flesh warp. Beyond their transformations, little binds these people into a shared identity. Some, especially those who experience their corporeal changes later in life, reject identifying as flesh warps and cling to the ancestries of their birth, while others, often those who were born into these states of transfiguration, are more accepting of their flesh ward identity. So we get some ancestry feats there as well. We have the genie kin, which pretty much goes without saying. We understand what they would be. We've got the tiefling. Really? We haven't had tiefling before? Got to keep in mind, I don't review all of the Pathfinder releases. Sammy Uhas does a lot of the Pathfinder and Starfinder reviews. I don't know. Yeah, anybody out there who is far more familiar with the ins and outs of 2nd edition Pathfinder, as far as like all the, releases and that, let me know. Have we seen tieflings before? I thought we had. I don't know. Maybe not. So we have the Gorin. They seem to be these like floral. It says during the height of the wars between Geb and Nex long ago, the Archmage Nex asked the renegade druid Goris to create a plant that would feed his people even in the most inhospitable land. Goris did so, developing a flower that would adapt to every environment and withstand every sort of magecraft and spell working. He succeeded too well. In the strange soil of the impossible lands, the flower grew and soon began to think, and then to walk and speak. That's kind of cool. Got actually quite a bit of content about him too. We have the Kashrishi. So 245 Trioxin says this is like the 11th Lost Omen book. How many Forgotten Realms books does 5e have? Certainly do not have 11. So that's one of the things that we see with Paizo is we see a lot of content come out from them. And that is both good and bad. A lot of times as I review some of the adventure paths, to me, they seem rushed. Not all of them, but I have pointed out in the past that I think some of their adventure paths would improve if they had a single author work on, say, 3 chapters. Let's say it's a 3-chapter adventure. And, release it over a period of 9 months, as opposed to you have to gotta have a new one every month. New adventure chapter for both Paizo's Pathfinder and Starfinder role-playing games. But, I mean, there are some good adventures as well. I just reviewed Crown of the Kobold King. So if you're curious about that, definitely check that out. So it looks like we've got quite a lot of background of the various different races. The Nagaji. So obviously these are snake humanoids. Must be descendants of Nagas. And then we've got Benares. And these look like these are possibly chimpanzees or like descendants. Oh, there's going to be a lot of content in here. So Flaming Heron says, Paizo pumping those releases out. Yeah, I just got a package today, so it had this. You know what? After we take a peek at it, I'll show you. Peek at this. I'll show you what came. I've got it all down here. Okay, so now we're going to get into the Gazetteer part. So we've got Elkinstar. Elkinstar's kind of a steampunk setting. This was when Guns and Gears came out. This was the location for the first adventure path, Outlaws of Elkinstar, which, as I mentioned before, was 3 chapters. So we've got the peoples. Now it looks like this is kind of giving us a breakdown of the culture, various different locations in the city. And then one of the interesting aspects of Elkinstar is that there are kind of like dead zones where magic really doesn't work. So we have Dungenhold, Citadel of the Sky Flame. So it looks like this has a bit of an Asian theme to it. Now, I did not review Strength of Thousands. And then, because Sammy did those adventures. And then was it Eternal Flame? It was sort of like like a combat tournament sort of adventure path, which had an Asian theme to it. I wonder if this was the location. Because that was about the point in time when Paizo kind of got on board with the gaming gang. And we started to see some of the releases, but it was real hit or miss. Whereas now, pretty much, there we go. Thank you, 245 Trioxin. Ruby Fist. But I thought, if I remember right, I thought that was an island. So maybe, okay, that's kind of funny. This should be Geb, right? Yep, there you go. So as you can see, for each of these locales, we get some artwork, we get a map, we get essentially their flag, really. The different peoples, languages, different factions, religions, and what resources they are known for, probably for exporting. So Geb is one of the locations in the current Pathfinder adventure path, the Bloodlords, where the player characters are not necessarily good guys and gals. They can be pretty shaky as far as alignment wise. So Christopher Rush says, I approve of the amount of cats present within this tome. You got the quick and the dead. I also received the latest chapter of the adventure path, the Bloodlords. So Sammy has the first 2 chapters reviewed. She just sent me, I think if she just sent me the 3rd or the 4th. I think she just sent me the 3rd. I think she's a little bit behind on that. And then we have Yuled, Graveyard of Legions. So this is the biggest city of Geb, I'm taking a guess. Yeah, it says Geb's biggest city harbors the largest undead population in the world. I'm not sure if this is the city or, yeah, I guess maybe it is. Yeah, okay, there you go. So it is. We have important people. Looks like we've got a vampire there. It appears to be a vampire. Nice. We get some magic items. Then we have Jalmere, which appears to have kind of an Eastern setting to it. We have Niswan, City of Pagodas, capital of Jalmere. Ja Morant? You mean the basketball player? Very, very interesting. So, of course, when you run across books like this, that's cool. I like that art. Actually, so far, gotta say, and I mentioned this earlier, really, really solid artwork throughout, and pretty uniform as well, which to me is kind of, I guess, to me, it's kind of a big deal. I guess for a lot of people, it doesn't really matter. But to me, I find it's a much, at least in my opinion, a much more pleasing experience. Even if the artwork isn't fantastic or phenomenal, if it's relatively uniform in style and look, it just comes across as far more professional as opposed to just slapping stuff together. Oh, look at this. So we get so we get a recipe for savory buttermilk. I don't know. What do you folks out there think of this book so far? Now, one thing I got to point out, it appears that each of these locales, we get kind of a deeper dive into a particular aspect. So, like the new weapons and things like that. I don't think we had new weapons sections, at least we didn't see them, for some of the other locations. So we have some new feats. Student of Perfection. 4 houses of perfection in Jalmarais constantly discover new techniques and abilities to innovate and perfect their styles and to gain the upper hand in the next challenge of Sky and Heaven. Wasn't that the tournament from Ruby Fist? Maybe not. Following archetype feats present more options for a student of perfection. There are countless more hidden techniques, some possessed only by individual monks or passed from master to student in secret. So Fleming Aaron says, well, it's not lacking information. 245 Trioxin says, I think most of the Lost Omen books are great. They are pretty cool. I don't believe I have all of them. I think I do have them in PDF, but not physical books. Because second edition Pathfinder was out for a bit, and we were still kind of hit or miss on receiving things from Paizo. And I honestly think that was before my contact with Paizo got there. So then we have Quantium. So now we're in the nation of Nyx. Or Nex. Got our different factions. That's kind of wild. They look almost like the alien from Alien. At least head-wise. Government, food. And then we have Icanus. So this is a city in Nex. I think this is the land where they like fuse like flesh and science. Yeah, there we go. Flesh forged manuscript. One aspect I think is kind of cool is we get a little section. It's doesn't take up a ton of page space, but we get, a day in this nation, a year in this nation. 245 Tracks and says, I think the deep lore books is something 5e is missing, maybe because they have so many campaign settings. I think one of the problems that 5e has is that they just take a shotgun approach. So as an example, we've got the Dragonlance stuff coming out. Honestly, I do not think we will see any more Dragonlance releases after this wave. So we've got the adventure book. We've got a board game. I think that's it. And it's something that we see with 5e all the time. We saw that with Strahd. Strahd came out. It was solid. It was pretty damn good. It was, in my opinion, one of the best of the 5e books. That was it. So it's almost as if Wizards of the Coast is happy to kind of provide you with the core book, and then they just let third-party creators, kind of run with the ball from there. So that's why, all these people are like, oh, well, can't wait till, Dark Sun comes out. And I'm like, I don't know. For one, I don't know if Dark Sun's going to come out because you can't really do Dark Sun without slavery. I mean, you honestly really can't. You lose a whole lot of, kind of the grittiness of Dark Sun. But if we do get it, it'll be a Dark Sun book, and that'll be it. That's all you'll see. They'll be off to something else. For the most part, their main focus is on the Forgotten Realms. And once again, I think part of it is also because they don't have a lot of people working on it full time. And I know a lot of people out there don't realize that there are fewer than 20 people who work on Dungeons and Dragons full time. Almost everybody who works on D&D is a freelancer. So, all right. So it looks like these are the different deities. That's cool. Some other gods. Bestiary part. Yep. There we go. We get a bestiary. So we get kind of a breakdown of different creatures you would be likely to encounter in each of these lands. And then we've got some new entries here. Kind of curious. I'm not sure if anybody is out there watching the stream on a big screen or anything, but hopefully the lens is working well. Hopefully you can make things out. The big reason why I wanted to change lenses was so that you could actually see the text better. Because I found that with the lenses I had, because I don't have expensive lenses. I can't go out and, pay $600, $1,000 for a lens. That's just not in the, in the cards, I guess we'll say. So this is a Lumix lens that I picked up, but it was like a $150 lens. So, I mean, Christopher says, it looks great. Well, thank you. Very cool. I was hoping. All right. So that is a peek inside Impossible Lands, the latest Pathfinder Lost Omens volume from Paizo Inc. I am going to be reviewing Impossible Lands, and Sammy will be reviewing the Starfinder release, which is the something species off the top of my head. So Christopher says they can absolutely see the text now. Okay, so I told you, let me real quickly show what arrived today. So it's the Relics deck for Pathfinder. A new card for the card game. I wish we would see more releases for the adventure card game. So we really haven't seen for the last edition. Although this says Skull and Shackles. I'll have to take a peek to see if that somehow came out, because I thought that was like the original game. So yeah, it's like if you're part of the subscription, which is essentially that's what I am. They send usually every month is a new adventure card game card. So we've got the Monster Lears expansion set for the flip tiles. We've also got the Deadly Minds multi-pack of flip mat, as well as the Metropolis Starfinder flip mat. A Taste of Ashes, which is the 5th chapter of the Bloodlords adventure path, as well as Interstellar Species. for Starfinder. I was kind of surprised. I thought there was a new Starfinder Adventure Path this month, but I guess not. Although there has been a lot coming out from Paizo, so it is possible that it's coming out kind of in waves this month. So, but as you can see, plenty of goodies came my way. Actually, you know what? There is another Starfinder adventure. I bet you I didn't grab it because no, I've got the Pathfinder one. Because I was going to say, because I sent along the PDF to Sammy. It's the third chapter of the latest Starfinder Adventure Path, which is actually wrapping up. Disavowed 92 has popped on into chat as we're wrapping up. Good to see you, Disavowed. Thanks for swinging on by. All right. So, as I mentioned, I will have a review of Pathfinder Lost Omens Impossible Lands in the very near future. So, what's cooking the rest of the week and into next week? So, tomorrow we are going to take a first look at Verdant, which is from AEG. This is on the horizon. This is a game from Flat Out Games, and the artwork is, I believe it's Beth Sobel, who does the art on this as well. So Flat Out Games, if you checked out Calico, which I really like, that was from Flat Out Games. AEG is published a few of the Flat Out Games titles. So we're going to take a look at that tomorrow. And if you were watching earlier, I had mentioned that I have 2 packages that are coming from Free League Publishing. And I don't know what's in them. I honestly do not have a clue. I got another package that's on its way that I have no idea. I just got your package has been shipped. And it's like, okay. So I think Regency Cthulhu is on its way. Also, the Free League Publishing, I think one of them is going to be Cyborg, and then the little supplement that released at the same time. And I think the other one, fingers crossed, is Blade Runner and the Blade Runner starter set. If it's not that, then it's probably the 5e Lord of the Rings RPG, the 2 books. But I think it's Blade Runner. I really do, because it was supposed to come out this month. And I usually do get Free League Publishing releases before they come out. Not like Twilight 2000, but I got that 3 months before it came out. I don't get it that early. But usually I do get it a little earlier. Also, keep in mind, if memory serves, the Dragonlance book and board game come out this month. So we should be seeing that at some point. I don't know if I'll get the board game, but I should be getting the Dragonlance D&D book. Coco B says, come on, Blade Runner. Come on, Blade Runner. Baby needs a new pair of shoes. Blade Runner. We'll find out. So these packages, well, the 2 from Free League, are supposed to arrive on Wednesday before 9 p.m. But they are coming U.S. Postal Service, and my mail usually gets here before 6 p.m. So we will see. We will see what it could possibly be, and we will probably be looking at a Free League Publishing release on Wednesday. If not, I got other stuff we can take a peek at too, but fingers crossed, Fingers crossed on Blade Runner. Alrighty then. So that's it for this time out. If you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, ding that bell, because it'll not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. Central, it'll also let you know when I upload other videos, such as my recent review of Pathfinder Crown of the Kobold King from Paizo Inc. What a coinkadink. We were looking at a Paizo release, and I just reviewed a Paizo release. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit gaminggang.com for all latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more that you won't find here on the YouTube channel. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Thank you very much. If you were tuning in, watching live, much appreciated. You took part in chat. Bonus experience points for you right there, because you're not only keeping each other company, you keep me company. So I don't feel like a total putz just talking into the camera. But of course, I know a lot of you out there don't have an opportunity to watch live. Doesn't matter if you're watching live or on Memorex. Really do appreciate you taking time out of your busy life to watch any of the videos here on the channel. I will be back tomorrow. Everybody enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time of day it is in your neck of the woods. And here's hoping each and every one of you get to enjoy plenty of great gaming. Your gang.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate you.
Oh, hey, you're still here. That's okay. You don't have to leave just yet. In fact, why don't you subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel right here, or take a peek at the latest live stream, or even find out what YouTube recommends you check out from the channel. And of course, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thanks again for watching.